Hello and welcome to Binar TV. I am here with Michał Brodecki, a senior developer at Binar Apps, and we're going to talk about programmer's secret language. How to talk with a programmer if you're a non-technical person. So Michał, tell me, let's talk basics. I am a non-technical guy who owns a startup. I come to you as a software house. What is the first step?
Okay, so first of all, you don't need to be afraid because like 80% of our clients are non-technical. So
I would be very afraid to come to you with no technical
not
knowledge.
a problem for us because actually it is our job to guide you through the whole process, because creating a startup is a process. You will learn a lot. You will learn your product. You will learn some technological stuff, technological idioms. So you don't have to be afraid. We will guide you and
But maybe, is there any basic programming knowledge which I need to possess before coming to a software house?
Not really, because you need to share with us your idea, right? So
that's all I have.
First of all, we need to know what do you want to have. Of course, sometimes you don't know what do you want to have, but
let's say that I do know what app I want to, and I can explain it to you somehow what I want this app to do.
Yeah.
What comes next?
Okay, so let's say we arrange like the initial meeting, and we are trying to figure out what do you need exactly. So we are trying to spot possible pitfalls, possible issues, or some hard parts of your app, because sooner we spot them, the job will be easier later.
Yeah.
And so that's basically the initial meeting is very important, because sometimes 10 minutes more during the meeting, during the talking, will save us like 3 or 4 hours of coding.
Yeah, that's how it works. And you say I don't need any programming knowledge, but I guess that at least to understand what you're talking about, I should know some jargon of yours. So what are the basic terms with which I should get familiar with before coming to you, just to understand what you're talking about?
Okay. Of course, there are some words, but you will learn them, like deploy, production, staging, merge, pull requests.
Okay, is that Chinese?
No, it isn't, and it's very simple, because even if you don't know the word, so you can always ask us what does it mean. But we are trying to use as simple word as we can. But like I said before, deploy or production or staging is very crucial, because when we deploy the app, we just releasing. When we deploy to the production, it means that we are deploying it live to people.
Okay.
When we are deploying it on staging, that means we are deploying it like internally. So only for us and for you to test.
So you won't take me for a total ignorant if I don't know these terms at the beginning?
Of course not, because it's normal, because if you are not familiar with coding stuff and coding words, you are not familiar with these idioms. So.
Yeah, so with your communication, you're using simple words, simple stuff just to make a client understand it. How do you communicate with a client? Because I've heard that at Binar, you're connecting directly with a client. Is this beneficial for you as a developer?
Yes, of course, because each time I have a question, I don't need to go to some kind of person like consultant or stuff like that. I just directly ask my client what to do next. There's sometimes during the development there are some parts that needs to be discussed, and they are not black and white, and to discuss them, to be better prepared for them, we just arrange a meeting. We talk like an hour or 2 or even 10 minutes if it's sufficient, and it clarifies much, because it saves us time and it saves the client's time.
So you can get feedback from me as a client much quicker than you would if there was some middleman.
Right.
And talking about the process, could you tell us step by step, after the initial documentation, what are the next steps you take in developing an app?
All right. So in the most cases, we are creating the MVP, so the minimum viable product. So the application that just provides one main functionality that will earn money for you, for a client. So at the first phase, we are trying to isolate the scope of the MVP, because sometimes clients comes to us with a large project.
I want everything.
Yes, I want everything, and it has to be like fireworks and stuff like that. But our job is to cut the parts that we don't need at the start, because we can go with a simple one. It's from my experience in a startup world, releasing the product as fast as you can is very crucial, because you get feedback very fast. So imagine that you are trying to create an application with your whole idea, and you are 100% sure that this is the idea that will blow up and it's gonna be awesome. And you are releasing it, and you spend like 3 or 4 months on developing it. And it occurred that only the one part of this app is valuable, and is generating money.
Okay, so if you want to create an app that does everything, you cannot do it quickly. You have to start from smaller things and then expand.
Exactly. That's how it works, and our job is to scope the project correctly and advise client. So you might not need that, but this is the crucial part. So we might focus on that and make it very, very interesting and attractive.
So after you scope it to the more reasonable scale, how do you handle feedback from clients? Because client for sure will tell you that his idea is right. How do you tell him that it's better to compromise at first and then expand and not the other way around?
Of course, it's... I'm not saying that we are 100% perfect programmers, right? And I'm not saying that the clients are 100% sure. So, like you said, we need to find a compromise. So, it is based on talking. If you talk with your client, you are gaining trust, and the trust is very, very important in this job. Because if we don't trust each other, then our cooperation will fail.
Yeah, and it seems like a very lean approach. You're very flexible in that manner. How do you handle feedback in a manner that some software houses or some companies tend to get a fixed numbers of feedback rounds, like 3 rounds of emails and that's it? Do you handle it differently?
It depends on the client. It depends on the agreement we have, like in the beginning. So if we decide to go like with 3 rounds, it's okay if clients insist to do that. Of course, we will not advise them to do that, because like the last step of creating the application is technically maintenance. So maintenance and adding the new functionalities. So limited number of feedback rounds is very risky, because you need to be sure that you won't have to do anything further for that.
Okay, so you are trying to do everything to develop a good product before releasing it to the public. What is the final stage? When you have this MVP, when it's basically done but needs some testing, what exactly do you do to test the app?
All right, so you can, let's say there are a couple of parts that you can divide. Like, first of all, when we create the code, when we write the code, when we gather the specification, we are creating the automatic tests for the code. And it is for our security and for the client security that it is like automatically checking if something is broken.
Okay.
or
You're checking the backend, right?
Yes, right. So if anything new we add will broke something like we created 2 months ago. So we have a security for that. So that's the first part, automatic tests. The second part is our QA team, quality assurance. There are guys sitting and trying to crash the app. Okay. And they are very good at it, I must say.
Sounds like fun.
Yes, and imagine that you won't even like think about what they try to do with the application and how can they spot the bug. So that's the second phase. And after these 2 phases, we are releasing this code to client, to staging, so he can just play around with it, with this particular functionality, maybe get some feedback about it if he wants to change anything or stuff like that. So after these 3 phases, we are ready to go to production. So we are ready to ship.
Yeah, okay, so it seems like you're readying the app for the final release, and to me it seems like many startups don't really do that, because you see all over the place applications which looks like continuous beta. They are not finished, they are buggy, they are not really useful. Why do you think that so many developers, so many startups ignore the phase of testing? Or maybe they are not doing it correctly?
I think that when creating the application, when managing the startup, you need to develop a skill that will help you to ignore, to not be a perfectionist maybe, but try to create a product that will be as much polished as you can.
Good enough.
Yes, good enough. Because when you're trying to be perfectionist, you will gather to run in a circle, because you will be you constantly try to change something, and you will never release the product, and you will waste a lot of money because you will try to be as perfectionist as you can.
Yeah, but there's always a room for improvement after the release,
of
right?
course, and yes, the clients need to understand that, because we can go with an MVP and we can changing things very quickly. It is not a process that takes weeks or months. We can change the product to look different in a couple of days. Okay. So yeah.
So that leads me to a very fundamental question. Is there an app that's ever completed?
I don't think so, because every time you check your app, you always think about something new that you want to add. You gather a lot of feedback from your users that it would be nice if you have this, it would be nice if this will change. So you can develop the application as long as you earn money. You can do everything with the application. You can change it constantly.
Yeah, and how important it is to listen to clients and improve your application. Is it really the core to sustaining the flow of money from the application?
You mean learning from clients, right?
Yeah, is it when clients or users develop your feedback, how important it is to incorporate that feedback for the financial flow of the app? So the app can continue to generate revenue.
The truth is that you cannot be 100% sure that the change you made will make your income greater, because sometimes you can change one little thing and it could take 20 minutes and it will generate tons of money for you. Oh. And other time you can spend 3 months on some cool feature that you think that you need it because a couple users told you that it would be nice to have it, and it occurs that you will only your income will rise a little bit only. So it's pretty hard to say. Effort. Yes, exactly. So there is no golden rule or something like that.
If that's so, maybe there's some case study which you can share where a seemingly small change really changed a bit from the user perspective.
Actually, yes. Couple months ago, we had an application. The application is used for having large data sets. You can have some kind of lists for your companies, for your people that you are hiring. And we introduced a small thing, because we introduced a mark as favorite button for a list. And you might say that it
doesn't seem that big.
Yes, it doesn't seem that big. But it occurred that users loved it. And the number of favorite lists were growing enormous.
Okay, so seemingly small change, right? And
yes,
a really big impact.
Of course.
So I wanted to ask you some fundamental question once more, because nowadays you read all over the place that apps are done, that the world doesn't really need any more apps. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I think that it's completely opposite. Because
Really?
yes, because now even the fridge is connected to the internet. So if we continue to develop in such a way, in a few years we will have everything connected to the internet, and someone has to write the software for it. So
Okay.
I'm not really convinced that we have like enough apps.
So there will be always room for new startups to
Of
come
course,
up.
it's not yet introduced. So I encourage everyone.
And after IoT, we probably have another next big thing.
Of course. So we live in a beautiful times with internet growing so fast, and you can do technically everything if you got a computer and an internet connection. You can learn, you can write code, you can publish, you can earn money. So
These are good times to be a developer.
yes, it is.
So thank you. It was very nice talking to you.
Thanks.